Give it just about 5 minutes. Let everybody, see if we can get anybody in here. And then we're gonna see if we get oil pressure. I ain't done anything. I just got power. So, let me tidy up some of these wires. And I'll come over there and get the phone and see what's going on. And then I'll show you what I've done. Show you what's going on. And then we'll bump the switch. Now I don't have no fuel or spark plug wires are not on, so it's not going to crank, but we're going to see if we're going to see if the starter works. We're going to see if we got fuel, we're going to see if we got oil pressure. The fuel system is supposed to be here tomorrow, I believe, maybe. Maybe. It got delivered to the client's house. So for some reason, I don't know why, but it did. So they got to bring me that. So once they bring me that, then I'll plumb up the fuel system. And then the radiator is supposed to be here this week. Man, we're supposed to get rain tomorrow. We got 1.5 inches of rain last night. Tomorrow, we're supposed to get like 2 inches of rain tomorrow. I hope it don't rain Thursday. Thursday. That's dyno day. If it rains Thursday, I'll have to do something different because I have to see if my buddy will let me borrow his enclosed trailer because I won't be able to haul that 68 C10 on an open trailer. It'll get wet. Can't have that. So, like I said, we're gonna wait. When I get this wire right here zip tied, I'm gonna come over and get the phone, catch up on the comments, see what everybody's doing, and then we're gonna walk through and show you what I did. And somebody's probably gonna say, man, that sure is a lot of work just to take it all apart. Well, yes and no. A lot of it's not gonna get took apart. Some of it is, but not a lot of it. I'll just leave it on here. Only thing I'll have to unhook is the Holley stuff, which is just a few things. The rest of it can stay on here. Rest of it can stay on here. You know what I'm saying? Come on. You say that a lot. Come on. Like I said, I got a couple wires I gotta tidy up. I'm coming. I got a mess, I know that. All right, let's see what we got going on. Daggone, we in here. We got a bunch of folks in here. Let's see, 84, Scoot, 87, Carolina, TJ, 84, Fired Up Buttercup, Buchanan's, John's, Metal. All right, boys and girls. So, war zone. War zone. I don't throw away nothing. See all these wires? These are extra wires from something. And I put all of it in there and I drag it out when I need it. And some of it I needed and some of it worked out pretty good. So, look, got power. Look, got power. I hadn't even done the setup. Got lights, got this, got this. All right, so this is what I did. All right, this right here is for the fuel pump. Come on. What type of wire do you suggest? That right there is a leftover from an American Auto wire harness. Like these are wires left over from that truck right there that wasn't used, like stuff that was long, like it's labeled. See, look, like electric fan, you know, and some of it I used on here. So I was gonna shrink wrap everything. My OCD was kicking in. I was gonna shrink wrap every end, and I did. And then I was like, man, come on. I was like, man, I'm gonna move this over. I'm gonna unbolt this. I'm gonna re-drill new holes. I'm gonna move this over. The 2-gallon fuel cell for fuel injection is coming, so I'll set it down there. But right here's what I did. I got everything wired up. These are grounds. These are hots. These are hots. This is a hot. Come on. Where's my, there it is. All right, let me show you. See, I have a Holley system. What's up, Grandma? I have a Holley system, but it's when the new system comes, I'll put it all right there. But anyways, so let me show you. So I got the battery right here. I'm gonna show you. Y'all just stand by. All right, so look here. So all these are grounds. See, look. See, grounds. That's a good ground, see? Good ground. People like to say that that wire ain't thick enough. How it ain't when original. Yeah, I know, right? Come on. See, all these are grounds, right? All these are grounds, all right? And then I got a bunch of these. I think I ordered these off of Amazon one time. A bunch of them. I got a bunch of them, a bunch of different ones. But if you look, see, this is 12 volts. So that's 12. Y'all see that? There's 12. So this is hot. This is hot. This is hot. That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. And all of them are fused. All right. This is the fuse. This is a relay for the Holley system. And this is for the Holley. This right here is for, this is gonna be for the fan trigger. I don't have the fan, so the radiator or radiator, I don't have it yet, so there's no sense in wiring that up. So that's that. So let's get over here on the back side. All right, this is a red top. I can't stand it. I literally can't stand it. So I'm gonna have to come in here and I'm gonna have to zip tie all these wires. I'm gonna have to zip tie everything and clean it all up, I made the battery cable, I made the ends, crimped them, shrink wrapped them. So this is the battery cable, comes up, comes over, it hooks to this. All right, so this is what I did. All right, let me show you. So I took a piece of aluminum, I broke it 90, 90, and 90, and I drilled a hole in it. And then I bolted it to the battery, right? Now, the battery, this wire here is bolted directly to the battery. Then I took, this is the Holley system, Holley, all right? So I just took self-tapping sheet screws and just screwed it right into the aluminum. So that's a leg, so that's hot, right? This is hot and this is ground. We don't need this because this is for something else, all right? So here's my ground for Holley and here's my other ground for Holley, all right? Yep, a power plate, that's exactly right. Now, I wouldn't do this in a vehicle because it's dangerous, but right here, it'll work good because I didn't want to one, I didn't want to spend no excess money on anything. And I got plenty of aluminum and I got plenty of tech screws. So that's that. So all that's there, this runs up. And then I made this ground. So this ground lug right here, I made this ground, I crimped it. This ground lug comes up and goes directly to the back of the block right there. Okay, so I got it grounded directly to the block. Like I said, the spark plug wires, they're not hooked up. So this is done, starter's done. I put the exhaust manifold gaskets on. I put anti-seize on these bolts and I tightened them up and then I torqued them. So that's that. I started making the fuel line, but then I stopped because I was like, there ain't no sense in making the fuel line, because if I make the fuel line, I don't need it because I don't have no fuel. So ain't no sense in getting in all that. So that is that. Let's see. This is the plug for the Sniper. This is the plug for the Sniper 2 system. It's just plugged in, and basically you have a hot wire, 2 hot wires and 2 grounds. That's pretty much it. And then you plug up the interface. You screw in the interface. You screw in the interface right there, and then you have the mass airflow sensor. You have the mass airflow sensor right here. But like I said, I'll put all that in when I build the exhaust, because I'm gonna build the exhaust and put some mufflers on it to fire it up. This is the, all right, so this is the water temperature sender for the Holley system, but I went ahead and put this one in for the gauge, so I can read it 2 times, and then I run it up over here, and I gotta zip tie all these wires. I can't stand it. I ain't gonna do it right now, but I can't stand it. So the tack. Oh yeah. So basically, here's the Holley right here. So basically, the Holley's real simple. So here's the fuel system, right? So once this stuff here comes this week, I can plumb up all this and the little fuel tank. All right, and then this is the harness, right? This is the harness that comes with it, and then here's the pins, right? So you got red is the battery voltage, 12 volts. Pink is 12-volt ignition. Yellow is the coil. Green is the crank. There's a lot of this stuff you don't even use. Like crank signal, we're not using that. We're not using speed sensor. We're not using that. We're not using a CAN 2 high or CAN 2 low for future expansion. We're not doing that. We're not using a drive to aftermarket tack. We're not doing that. Optional connect to ground input. We're not using that. Crank signal. We're not using that. Points. We're not using that. So there's a lot of these right here that we're not even using. You know what I mean? And then, so basically, we're not running a coil. We're not running an MSD Hyperspark. So basically, you just run the yellow wire out of the wiring harness into the distributor, the HEI distributor on the tack side, and then the red and white wire from 12-volt switch goes to the battery for the distributor to make the distributor spark. So that's pretty much it on that. This right here, this fan relay is 7566-2. So it's 2 40-amp relays in that system. And I've not even plugged that up yet because I don't have the fans. And then basically, this is it right here, fuse, plugs. So there's only a couple wires that you actually have to hook up. Yeah, here's the O2 sensor. Yep, right there. Right there, it plugs into the harness, and they send you the O2 sensor. All right. Okay. Y'all hold tight. All right. So that's that. So the blue wire goes to the fuel pump and then you ground it. So this blue wire right here is going to go to the fuel pump when it comes here. So this blue wire goes to the fuel pump and that's what triggers the fuel pump. And then right down here, you got this harness here, which is this harness, which it says optional if you're running this tack, but we're not running that tack, all right? So that's pretty much it. And then if you're running this interface, we're not running this interface because we're not running HyperSpark. 87SS, if he's not running this one, I don't know if 87SS is running this module block. I think he's running the smaller one, but this one right here is everything so if you're running HyperSpark, ignition, coil, and canister, then you need to run this. And this right here is everything. So this runs your fans, your fuel pumps. This is everything. And see, it even has dummy light or has code lights. Like if the fuel pump's green, it's running. If it's red, it's faulty. So this right here is not applicable. This is not applicable in this situation because we're not running HyperSpark. So that's that. So if you go, I hadn't even done the setup, so sensors. So it says battery voltage is 12, mass airflow sensor is 72, coolant temperature is 86. So this block has no water in it, and it says it's 86 degrees because that's what the temperature is in here. Like I said, I hadn't even set this up. But anyways, yeah, speaking, yeah. Hey, 87, do you have this one? Do you have this one? Do you have this module here? Because you got the HyperSpark. Do you have that PDM? Do you have this one? I think you have this one, right? Don't you have this one, 87? Don't you have this Sniper 2 ecosystem, this distribution? I think he does, y'all. I think 87 has this on Mitras. Oh, you don't? Really? I could have swore that you had that because look what this thing does, man. That PDM, it runs everything, man. It runs the HyperSpark ignition. It runs the coil. It runs the canister. It runs the fans. It runs your fuel pump. It runs everything on that. Everything on that. So I don't need that one because we're not running HyperSpark, but I do have this one. Okay. Yeah, see, it's not even, I don't even need it on this one because it don't even have HyperSpark. But what I did get was that that interface. Where's that? Right here. The fan wiring interface, the 240 amp relays. So the 7566-2, I do have that one. So that one I do have right here. So the -1 is deleted. This is the new one. So they got, man, these things are nice. So they got one with 2 40 amp relays, and then they have one with four. They have a 4 setup and a 2 setup. So this right here will trigger the fans or fuel pump, or it's a 2-channel relay module, 7566-2. So once the radiator gets here, I'll wire all this up there to that. And then this. Oh, oh yeah. So this is a little fuse box. I get a bunch of these off of Amazon. So these worked out good. So all that's that. So there is no fuel because I don't have the fuel stuff yet. So it's not gonna start, but I did wire everything up. I made power bars so I could get everything to it. I made all the cables. I made the ground cables. I made everything. I made all of it right here. Okay, so you have the 4-channel. So 87, you got the 4-channel. Okay, so this is the 2-channel 40s. I like these, man. I'm gonna use these on other stuff. So I got all this wired up. Then the fuel system comes. I'll plumb all the fuel system up. I have a 2-gallon drifter tank, fuel injection tank coming that I found on Amazon for like 60 bucks. So I'm gonna bolt that down, and then the fuel pump, I can drop the fuel pump in that, and I can do all the fuel system right there. I can run it up. And like I said, I made the ground cables. Here's the cables. I made them. I crimped them up. And I got that. And then I put grommets in. So y'all about ready? So we've been here 22 minutes. Y'all about ready to see if this thing hit on the key? It ain't gonna crank, but. So what we're gonna look and see, when we hit this key right here, we're gonna see if the starter works, and we're gonna see if we got fuel pressure. That's the only thing that's gonna happen. We're gonna see if we got fuel pressure, or excuse me, we're gonna see if we got oil pressure, and we're gonna see if the starter works. And then hopefully, by the end of the week, maybe I can get this thing to start up. So, damn, shoe fell off, man. And I started making the fuel lines, but like I said, I stopped on that. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I got a mess. Damn, I got a mess. All right, boys and girls. So, like I said, when the fuel stuff comes, I'm gonna bolt the fuel tank right here, and then I'm gonna run all the Holley system. The filters, the pre-filters, I'm gonna run all that, and then we're gonna go to it. And then I'll use this for a carbureted, if I ever do a carburetor, because this one's carbureted. But that's that. Where's the cover for that son of a gun? Oh, I'll find the cover. What'd I do with the cover? Oh, here's my crimpers. So I'm making battery cables. Yeah, look at these, man. Look at these son of guns. Look at them. Dude, I'm rough on shit, man. I'm rough on it. So here's my crimpers. So these are my crimpers that I use to make battery cables. All right, and you push this button right here, and these spin, right? And then the ends, I kicked over my damn thing. Here's the ends. You get a bunch, you can get these, the brass, the copper ones, whatever. I got to pick all these up. I swore he said he wouldn't. Mike, you ain't lying. You ain't lying. You telling the truth. I did say I wasn't hooking the lights up, but my OCD wouldn't let me. I said, sons of mother. I had to hook them up. So here's the crimpers. Here's the part number is Hotel X-Ray -50 Bravo. These are my crimps that I make battery cables with. Pretty much anything. All right, boys and girls. Hey, I'll tell you something else. Oh, yeah. These grommets, no, these are not. No, these are grommets. Amazon. Firewall grommets. Amazon. I get these off of Amazon. And then it tells you right here, tells you the hole size, and then you drill the hole, and then you put them in there, and you take a razor blade, and then you slit the hole, and then you're good to go. These ain't what y'all think these are. This ain't, that's not what that is. This ain't a Madonna show. But anyways, that's enough talking. Y'all ready? All right, boys and girls, here we go. Everybody ready? Give me a thumbs up. Y'all ready? Cuddy's ready. Fisher's ready. Who else is ready? Let's see if we got oil pressure. Now we put oil, break-in oils in. We got the break-in oil, all right? So here we go. Contact! We got oil pressure. Need to adjust the starter just a little bit. I need to take one of them shims out. Need to take one of them shims out. You hear how it's dragging just a little bit? Contact. Y'all can't hear it, but I can hear the oil. Doom, 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 dripping back down. I do have to, there is one thing that I have to do. I have to take one of these trigger wires off for the Holley system. I have to take this main wire right here. So this main wire here is directly hooked to the battery, right? So what I'm going to have to do, y'all can't hear that, but I can hear the oil drop. So this right here, it goes straight to the battery, right? So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take and redo this wire. I'm going to have to redo this wire to accessory, to the on position. So right now the key is in the off position. So it's in the off position and everything is on, right? So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take this wire here and put it on the accessory side of the, well, basically, no, let me tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this wire off and I'm gonna put a 4-pin relay. So let me tell you what you could do. You could take this wire off right here and I could redo this wire and just hook it to the accessory bolt right there on the side of the switch. And then when you go to turn it on, everything would come on, right? I could do that, right? But I'm not gonna do that. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take a 4-pin relay and I'm going to mount I'm gonna mount a 4-pin relay to here. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this wire and hook it to the relay. And then I'm gonna hook the trigger wire. I'm gonna hook the trigger wire to the accessory switch. And then the accessory switch is gonna trigger the relay to complete the circuit so I don't have to recut this wire here. So I'll just add a relay and then run the trigger wire, a small wire, up to this thing. Yeah, to right there. And then when I turn it on, that will energize the relay that way. And I'm probably going to have to do that anyway, Because if you remember on that truck there, on the Terminator X system, every time I turned the key off, my tune would wipe out. Every time I would turn the key off, the tune would get wiped away. And the reason why is because there was residual voltage in the power block. It was 0.00012, and that will wipe out the tune. That is not in the Holley manual, but I promise you, it will wipe it out. So I had to do it on that truck. So that's why this is on. And if I go through the Sniper Wizard to set up the tune, and then you go through the setup and it says turn the key off, and then let for 15 seconds, and then turn the key back on, it's going to wipe the tune off, because I know there's going to be residual voltage that's going to be sitting in that power block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a relay, and I'm going to wire it up just like I did on that truck, on the relay, on the red and white wire on the Terminator X Max system. So when you go to turn the key off, the voltage is completely gone. There's no residual voltage, so therefore it don't wipe the tune out. Is that not too much? No, actually, Mike, so actually Blake, so after about 4 or 5 times me calling Holley and my rep, my guy I talked to, Blake, I told him what was going on with that truck, because every time I turned the key off, the tune would get wiped away. Aggravating as, so I finally, when I got him on the phone, he said, what are you doing? And I told him, and he said, what's your voltage? He said, where are you pulling your 12-volt voltage, key 12-volt voltage with the red and white wire? And I said, matter of fact, I'll show you on the truck, because I gotta zip tie all these wires back. I said, I'm taking the red and white wire and I'm getting it on a key source, 12-volt key source. He said, turn the truck off and then put a voltmeter in that source, that ignition source, and tell me what the voltage is. I was like, okay. It was 0.00012. And I said, man, that could be the flux in the daggone snap-on test light or test meter or the fluke. And he says, that's enough voltage to wipe out the tune. Put it on a relay. So I had to cut all the wires back out. And then that right there, that red and white wire is the trigger wire for the Terminator X Max system. That runs to the relay. Then it runs, this wire runs from there, and then I ground it. So when I turn the key on, the ignition wire triggers the relay, therefore sends a signal through the red and white wire to the Holley system, and the Holley comes on. And when you turn the key off, but see, this is a Terminator Max system, and it would wipe my tune every single time. I got a message earlier today. He had surgery. He got out of surgery, and everything's all good, and that's all I know. I got a text from his phone, so it was either his wife or his daughter texted me and said, Bilt's out of surgery, everything went well. So that's all I know. Anything shorts, it's $40 relay. Yeah, I don't know about no $40 relay. I don't pay that much for relays. For 4-pin relays, I don't pay that much for a relay. Yeah, so, and if somebody wants, look, I'm afraid to post this because I don't want to get in trouble, but this is Bilt's Cash App. I've had a lot of people ask me for it. 84 Cuddy, give me this. So if anybody wants Bilt's Cash App, that's his Cash App. You do what you want to do. If you feel the need to help, that's his Cash App. I know he's not asked for nothing. But I know a lot of people's been texting me and say, hey, I want to help Bilt out. How can I get something to him? I was like, well, here's his Cash App. If you want to use his Cash App, there's his Cash App. So there it is right there. Anybody needs to see it, screenshot it. If your heart tells you to do something, do it. If your heart tells you not to do it, don't do it. That's on you. Either way, I'm not on here advocating for people to send Bilt monetary gains. A lot of people's been sending me messages and texting me and asking me. They want to help. They want to send built stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then 84 Cuddy supplied this for me. So this right here is it. So if you want his Cash App, that's it right there. I actually used this today. It worked out really, really good. I made this panel. That's how I made this panel today. I made this panel and then I folded the lip. I folded that lip and made that panel. So you see right now I still got power. So I'll have to actually unhook. I'll have to unhook this wire here to get the power to disable. So that's about it, boys and girls. I'm hoping it don't rain Thursday because we're going to the dyno Thursday. I got to be there at 7:30, so that means I got to leave here like at 6:30. It says it's like a 30% chance of rain. I got a homeboy, he's got an enclosed trailer. I'm going to call him tomorrow and see if he'll let me borrow it Thursday because I do not want that thing to get wet because there's no doors, no glass in it. So Thursday going to the dyno. So I don't want to chance it and load it up on the trailer and take it up there and get caught in the rain because I will be upset. So like I said, I got a buddy that's got an enclosed trailer, car hauler. I'm gonna call him tomorrow to see if I can borrow it. I actually need one. I need one myself, but I'd like to have like a 8.5 foot wide, 24 foot car hauler. A 24 footer would be good, but I'd like to have one with escape hatch on the side so you can get out of it. But that's not here or there, but that's later on down the road. I did have a deal last year. Guy had one. It was in Florida. We was going to do some trading. I had to go all the way to Miami to get it, and then he backed out on the deal. Go figure. So anyways, that's what I got. We got fuel pressure. I keep saying fuel pressure. We got oil pressure. I'll show you boys. Ones that's just tapped in. Contact. Good oil pressure. 60 pounds. 60 pounds. So, oh yeah, and I got to get I got to go to the lawnmower shop to get a throttle cable for a lawnmower because I am going to I'm probably going to put it, I'll probably build another, not me, you stupid. Turn this camera around. I'll probably put another panel right here. I'll probably put it right here where I can work it. Get like a lawnmower cable and put right here so I can work the throttle. So once I get it starting running, I can run it up and hold it. I think I got to hold it like 1,800 RPMs for like 20 minutes. And then just run it up there. A choke cable from Napa is cheaper. Okay, Mike. Yeah, we had a Western Auto. Sure did. Choke cable. Well, Mike, I don't know where I know where you at, but our Napa here sucks. So I doubt, I'll go to Napa and check tomorrow, but I doubt they're going to have anything. There's like 4 or 5 lawnmower shops here in town. Manual choke cable is $11. What's up, 95? Well, I will definitely keep you updated on that. So that's what we got right there. So I'll put a manual choke cable or a lawnmower cable or something so I can run the throttle. I got to get some return springs and then go from there. I got to put the crank pulley on. The crank pulley's here, so I need to do that. I need to wire up the alternator to the battery so it keeps the battery charged. So yeah, that's where we at on that. And then once the radiator comes, or radiator, I'll build a stand to hold the radiator. and then I'll build all the hoses and go from there. I got to set, the timing's already set. Look, they already set the timing. Look, #1 cylinder. So I got to run all the plugs, run all the plug wires. I got to hook up the battery wire to the HEI distributor, so it works. But boys and girls, that's all I got for you. I appreciate you. Almost up to 3,500 subscribers, almost up to 3,500. Just like 4 or 5, somewhere around there. All right, boys and girls, I hope everybody had a great day. Be careful, the rain's coming. If you're on this side of the river, the rain's coming. And I appreciate every single one of you. Remember what I said, boys and girls? Don't worry about the man up the road or down the road. Sweep off your own front porch, sweep off anybody else's. Put God first, let loose and drag. Peace, love, and chicken grease. I'm out. And I'm going to go eat me some chicken. I got me a full rotisserie in the house, boys and girls. I'm fitting to get my grub on. Let go.